Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nuuli Forged. My name is Jared. I'm your humble dungeon master here, and we are a 5e actual play stream that plays in the custom setting of Nuuli that came out of my brain. And 5 of my friends over here are brave enough to play in. Pity them. As you can see, Matt, who plays Spoot, is not with us at the moment. He may be in later. He's had some work issues today. So hopefully he gets to come on by. But we'll roll with it until then. Big shout outs to Ives Got It, best moderator on Twitch. Thank you for the Pikachus. Thanks NYC for using our emotes. And thank you to Mostly Mad Hatter, who followed us last week, 6 days ago. Thank you, Mostly Mad. That's wonderful. Well, I've jibber-jabbered quite a bit here at the start of the show. Can you all hear those helicopters in the background, or no?
No.
Okay, cool. Apparently there is something going on at a mosque locally, and the police felt it necessary to put 3 choppers in the air. So
awesome.
Here we are.
So over this.
Right. Well, in the meantime... hey, let's go around, introduce yourselves, your characters, and somebody roll me that beautiful D20 to get this week's prompt. Ooh, a 19. Oh, let's see, a 19 in October. It is still October, right? Yes, it is. That's wonderful.
It's still October.
All right. This is interesting. All right, everybody, please introduce yourself, your character, and answer the question, what is the worst illness or malady that your character has ever experienced? Pardon me. Worst illness or malady, I will include like existential dread or broken heart or anything like that, or, you know, bugbear, pox fever, or anything like yeah, it's free form. You tell me. What is the worst illness or malady that your character has experienced? And we're going to start at the top of our stack with Mike.
That's me. I'm Mike. I play...
I've got it. Thank you for resubscribing, rejoining the party. We're getting the high rolls out of the way. Thank you so much. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. That was more important. I am Defect. I am the Warforged Arcanaton Barbarian. The worst malady. Defect. I mean, it's more of a spell or curse. Like, I don't know if it counts, but whenever he has fear, that always sucks because he hates running away from things. There was once probably a feeling of happiness and love seeing Adis reunite with his guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Kaylin.
Thank you. But other than that, I can't think of anything else, so I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, moving on down, we've got Amber.
Hello, I'm Amber. I play the Goblin Artificer. And there was this one time I was trying to use this one powder. I think it was like powdered crumplehorn snorkack skin. And I got a horrible rash all over my body. It was really bad.
That's why they're red.
Mm-hmm.
The rash is permanent.
Permanent rash.
All right, Ren Rash. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Sarah.
Hey, that's me. I am Sarah. I play Olive, the half-orc druid. And certainly the worst malady in Olive's recent memory is of being turned to stone with her jaw broken in half resulting in this delightful scar that she now bears on her face.
That's right. That's right.
It was pretty bad.
That was a tense bit of time there. Luckily, you had some people with some good rolls. Wonderful. Well, moving on down to the bottom of the stack at the moment, we've got Tanner.
Hi, I'm Tanner. I'm playing Nereus, the Azamar Sorcerer. And I would have to say, aside from like being mauled by a demon dog kind of thing, that killed me. When we went to Spoot's Swamp, stuff just kept biting or brushing up against, and you just got like some nasty, itchy rash kind of thing in the swamp.
Fair enough. The Mucklow Muckles. Yeah, that's a rough one. Well, great. That's wonderful. Thank you all. And I am Jared. I am your humble DM here on Nuuli Forged. And there's been all kinds of sickness. I play everyone and everything else that is not the 5-player characters. So if you can think about it, someone's got it at some point. But all that being said, let's dive right into Last Time on Nuuli Forged. Last time on Nuuli Forged, the party recuperated from their ordeal. I'm already messing things up. Their ordeal against the ghost of Ziniondu and the destruction of his phylactery. Nereus was given a letter, ostensibly from Oligar Greyclaw, and in that letter, Oligar threatened Nereus' family if he did not leave the group and return home. Nereus, however, was enraged immediately and teleported to his front door so fast that he broke it down, only to discover that everyone who should be there was safe at home with no reports of any strange occurrences. Taking the time to make sure his family was covered and protected and not take any chances, Nereus made sure to ask his old friend Captain Cassidy Crates to keep an extra eye on his family, to which Cates responded that he was happy to do so. And so Nereus returned to Winton, and the party began discussing their next course of action. Over the course of the day, Spoot went to the Temple of the Knowing Mistress and found a slightly useless journal written by a strangely familiar name, Trip Sharprunner, a gnome explorer that the group had encountered once many months ago. Taking a chance that the gnome actually might have knowledge of these northern wilds, even north of the Errant Wilds, Spoot decided to message Trip, or cast sending, I should say, and was fortunate enough to discover that not only did Trip recognize Spoot, but that he was hiding in a northern cave at that very moment, one that sounded very familiar to Spoot. The so-called ancient Ibonese library that he had taken refuge in and escaped from many weeks ago. Setting a few final things in order, the party gathered various spell components, bought a few things here and there, did some prepping, and then set out the next morning using the runes that Spoot's week-long meditation had revealed to him. Returning through the secret door after achieving success of the teleportation circle via Nereus, through the secret door to the ruined ancient Ibonese library, the party heard a humming down below the stacks. And there, overlooking from a balcony, they saw a small figure flipping eggs in some kind of frying pan, about 3 floors below them, next to a fairly large insectoidal form. And that is where we are going to pick up. So, everyone, you have gathered around this banister and are looking a good 3 stories down. And it is dark here except for the light from this fire 3 stories below you. You see the silhouette of a form in what appears to be some form of light clothing, with a hat. And next to what is obviously an insectoidal shape. It's fairly like curled up, but you can still make out 6 long legs. It looks not quite horse size, but at least as big as a grown human, or perhaps even an orc. But it's pretty big. And all around you is the smell of musty old rock and wood and like rotted paper and vellum. Whatever secrets that once existed here have long since rotted away over the last 1,000 years. And you can see, as you look up to the top of this cave that you are in, or this library that you're in, the top is broken off, and you can see that the cave roof is now the roof of this library, which means that presumably there's some broken tower or something farther in this cave, maybe. Not quite sure how this all works or how it got here, but this seems to be a place that Spoot recognizes and has described to you all in the past.
The cave is like it bisected the roof above us, or like there's like a crumbly space and then ceiling up high.
So there's crumbly space and then the ceiling's just above that. So it looks almost like the cave like formed around it and knocked off the top part or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird looking. Geologically, you're not sure if it makes sense. But it seems to be what you're dealing with here.
Sure.
But looking down, you see this figure just up-a-doo, up-a-doo-doo-doo, up-a-doo-doo-doo, flipping the eggs. So what would you like to do?
Hello down there.
Immediately, the figure drops the frying pan onto the fire, stands up, turns around, hands on his hips, going for some kind of weapon. He makes a little whistle, and the insectoidal creature gets up on its spindly legs, almost spider-like, except only 6 legs instead of 8. And looks up and says, "Who's that?"
Oh, it's just Greg and the Misfits. Are you name that I can't remember suddenly?
Trip.
Trip?
Oh, right. Spoot mentioned you when he talked in my head yesterday.
Yeah, he's here. He's uncharacteristically quiet today.
Understandable. It's a creepy place. Well, come on down. Fire's warm, and as far as I can tell, it's pretty abandoned here.
Okay.
Is there a visible way down?
Yeah, Spoot is able to like lead you back and around, and you find a like you know those like iron staircases from like Victorian Italy or Renaissance Italy that are like old and wobbly but still work. It's kind of like one of those. Very tarnished banister. You can see it glinting in a few places off the firelight. But within 5 minutes or so, you are down with him by the fire. Well, it's certainly good to see you all again. Or, well, I guess not all of you. Weren't there... Seems like you got 2 new people and we're missing 2 other people.
Hi, I'm Olive.
Trip Sharprunner, ma'am. Nice to meet you. Trip Sharprunner is a 3-foot-tall gnome with kind of pale skin, big, long, white eyebrows that kind of like come out across the side of his face and then kind of angle down. Not curvy and like whimsical, but like angular and sharp. And he's got a very pointed, like Van Dyke kind of beard going on, like very like sharp, pointed. If you have ever seen the Venture Brothers, think the Monarch, but gnome and white hair instead of red hair.
3 feet tall.
And 3 feet tall. He is wearing kind of like gray and white leathers, including like a duster and a fedora. He's got like you can see there's a whip on one side and there's a short sword on the other. He's got like a pack leaning against a stone that he's been sitting on near the fire. And kind of right beside him over his shoulder is a orcish-sized insect creature that looks very hungry, for lack of a better term. It's got sharp, pointy teeth and big, spindly legs that like stick up, like the joints are higher than the back of the main body of the creature, and they end in sharp, pointy bits that seem to have like multiple like claws kind of around it, as though for digging or burrowing or something like that. And like a jaw that kind of unhinges, like like really open, like the jaw opens much wider than you think it should. He's like, of course you'll remember Kruthy, my Kruthric companion. Kuthri, these are all friends. And he makes a little like clicking whistling noise, and the creature Kuthri kind of like goes up to you all and kind of like looks at you and does a little like sniff, and then goes back and circles back by the fire and kind of gets into a little like wallow that she's created in the stone floor. Well now,
That's quite an interesting steed you got there.
Oh yeah, Kuthri. Yeah, raised her from an egg, I did. It's a lot harder than you'd think.
Can I talk to her?
Huh?
Can I talk to her? I cast Speak with Animals.
As a spell slot or as a ritual?
I'll do it as a spell slot for now.
Great. Let me see something about Kuthri here. All right. All right, let's see. So what does Speak with Animals is what you're casting, right? What does speak with animals allow you to do? Oh, look, you put it in the spell. That's great.
I did.
You cast the spell and speak to Kuthri, and she doesn't even like raise her head to look at you. You're not sure the spell worked on her. She might not. It might not have grasped.
She might not be an animal.
Might not be.
All right.
Yep.
Not very chatty, is she?
Well, she is if you know the right language, and sometimes she's more chatty than others, like most folk, I imagine. But Kuthric is a hard language to speak if you're a humanoid. I've had her for years and speak very little of it. It's a lot of clicks and clacks and kind of grinding noises, and the dancing's hard.
I imagine a language not built for someone with our parts.
Exactly so. Sorry,
Nereus.
Nereus. Oh, Nereus. Yeah. Trip Sharp Runner. Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Well, what can I do for all of you? Spoot messaged me, but was not very specific about what was you all needed.
I think we're looking for power? Is that what it was?
Tower?
Or
Yeah, like, I mean, I think we're looking for the ruins of the tower, and you might know your way through the wastelands. Is that what we're looking for?
Is there a specific tower, or just any tower?
The
I think we're looking for the rest of this tower.
Well, it's right out front.
I feel I could put it somewhere.
I'll help you out here. You look. Spoot had mentioned a place called Craghold.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that.
Yeah, we're looking for Craghold.
Ah, well, that's fortuitous. I've been looking for that place off and on for about 18 years or so.
What have you been looking for?
How's that going?
I'm an archaeologist extraordinaire. So any time I find ruins, these ruins I've actually been to once or twice before. Not much left here. A lot of old rotted books and such, but it's good to have a place like this in the back of your brain that most folk don't know about in case you ever need to scamper off.
Sure. This does look very well hidden.
Oh, it is. You gotta walk a good, like, half a mile through the cave face to get to this, so most folk aren't up for that. But I'm quite at home here.
We're looking for a group of people. One might call it a cult. I don't know, have you seen a bunch of people coming and going from this area?
Actually, I have. That's why I'm here. I was a few days northwards, following a lead I've had on Cragshard Craghold for a while, but haven't really been able to pursue until recently. I've had other things looking for shard-touched items and whatnot, but I heard of a group up this way that was looking for such things, and I thought, well, that's interesting. And then I heard that they were holed up in an old fortress up this way, and having been here multiple times, I've only known of one in the area, and have never found it. So I was hoping, like, I might find some foot traffic or follow a group, but I got waylaid about 3 days ago, chased off by a group of mercenaries or hunters or whatever, all dressed in dark black clothing, and some of them had like black tattoos over their face, not of any like symbol or anything, but just like black ink. Is fairly unnerving in a way. But the real trouble was the the orc individual who was with him. That guy was, he was terrifying. He had this big nasty glaive, very business-looking armor. He pretty much just sent his goons on me, and he champered off. And like Kuthri and I, we can take our fair share, but these folk, there was a lot of them, and they were fairly tough. But I'll never forget the dead eyes that orc had. They just seemed like they didn't care about anything one way or another.
That sounds about right.
Well, they chased me for a little bit. Well, maybe, but they chased me for a little bit, and so I thought it best to hold up here until they scampered off. Kuthri and I did a little bit of a burrow escape as soon as we could, and kind of doubled back this way. What are you looking for? Are you looking for these folk, or are you looking for Craghold?
Yes.
It's,
Oh, both. Okay.
I think not necessarily the people you saw, but maybe like their bosses.
Well, if they've got bosses, they must be pretty tough. Well, I haven't actually been to Craghold. I've never quite found it, but I got some good ideas about where it might be.
We'd love any suggestions you have, because we're kind of, this was kind of as far as our information went.
Sure. I mean, I don't mind guiding you to the best of my abilities. Since we're going to the right place and safety in numbers and all that, you guys seem pretty competent based on that big axe, and you got some strange moving tattoos on you, Nereus, and
Why do you do that?
I will warn you, it's starting to get cold out there. There's already the first snow on the ground.
It should be fine.
Winter clothes.
Ah, smart.
We've been to the snow before.
Great. Well, I guess, yeah. Do you want to just set out now? You want to do anything? You have any more questions you might want to ask? You got to tell me.
What time of day is it up here?
Well, I was cooking breakfast. It's fairly early.
Well,
Right.
don't let us keep you from your breakfast.
Well, I appreciate that.
Can we just look around a bit? Is there anything that does not look like it's destroyed?
Make a investigation check.
That's it. Oh, 15. It's actually not so bad.
Yeah, looking around, there's a lot of like rocks and like rubble and that kind of stuff, like broken masonry, knocked over banister railings. It seems like this central floor probably once did have a lot of stuff, but a lot of it's been crushed by falling debris. And there's like broken pieces of wall that are like on the ground and now create like barriers in various ways. There's not a lot of like salvageable stuff around. Like you go to pick one of the books off the ground and you open the cover and the cover just falls apart in your hands and all the pages inside just shred and like become like dust as soon as they're moved. So it's been here for some hundreds of years.
Can I peek under if there's like a wall that might be like creating a cavity below it or something like that?
Yeah, there's definitely one. It just seems like, the part of a wall fell over and like the masonry kind of made it stick up, and so there's a bit of it's more like just a little archway kind of, but there's nothing living under there. Yeah. So Trip looks to you all and nods and kind of goes back to his breakfast and finishes that up, which their eggs, they're probably overdone at this point, but you see he kind of he kind of makes a face and makes a clicky clacky noise, and Kuthri puts her head up and he flips the eggs over to her and she like gobbles them down in one big catch. And then he kind of sighs and says, well, those were the last 2 eggs I found, and I guess I overcooked them, so... he pulls a ration bar out of his backpack and kind of munches on that and drinks some water. Well, if you're ready to go, I'll kill the fire, and we can see where we end up.
All right. What is he burning for his fire?
Seems like kindling and wood. Probably brought it in with him.
Speak with plants.
No, definitely not.
You wouldn't get a response. They're long since dead.
I was going to say, if it's kindling, there are objects now and not plants.
Yeah.
I cannot speak with objects.
Yeah. So he he makes a few more, a different series of whistles, and Kuthri comes on over, and you can see he throws some strange like saddle on her. Like it allows him to sit on her back, but it also looks like there's a secondary position on it for like getting like really close down, like almost like riding like you know how like you ride like a low rider motorcycle and it's like, yeah, you got your arms up here, but then if you ride like a Japanese motorcycle, it's much more like head down butt up. It seems like the saddle is constructed to allow for both of those positions somehow. and he throws a couple of like saddlebags over her. They're not like large, but they're, they got some kind of tack in them. And a couple other little doodads, and then he puts on his backpack and mounts up and says, all right, well, let's get going. He kicks over the fire, gets on Kuthrie's back, and leads you out of this fallen library, which once you're out of the structure, you see a 60-foot tall, what you're in is a 60-foot tall cave that's probably 120 feet long. This structure takes up the back half of it, and then as it goes down, you can see a big tower that's broken in many pieces, kind of along the front side of the chamber or of the cavern. So it's like it fell and broke into multiple pieces and just kind of scattered about. And you kind of weave your way through this debris before you reach a kind of narrowing passageway that's about 7 feet wide that you kind of all skitter down. Kuthri kind of making this weird tick 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 noise as she walks, with Trip very amiably whistling on top of it.
Hey Trip, have you been in this broken tower? Is there anything interesting in there?
Well, there was once upon a time, I'm sure, but mostly it's just ruins at this point. I'd estimate it's been this way for about 600 years or so. I haven't found anything in my previous visits yet to indicate what place it might have actually been, what stronghold it could have been. Not that we know all the Ibonese strongholds, of course, but we know of a few, the collective we of archaeologists and pre-breaking scholars and the like. The Seekers have some information, and that's one of the reasons I've worked with them in the past.
Cool. So there's not any cool furniture or anything in there left?
Oh, nothing that's not rotted away.
Fair.
Well, you see, the Seekers are a group of like-minded, studious folk. Most of them are researchers looking to regain the lost knowledge that was forgotten during the breaking. Tracking things down, artifacts, relics, not necessarily for power, but for knowledge, and rebuilding the knowledge that we lost. I think some of your friends here have worked for them in the past. There's
Yeah, I think those were the dudes.
Oh yeah, there's a particularly well-known one, Theginald Harper out of Sewell, which happens to be the individual who hired the original Grig and the Misfits for their very first mission.
Yep.
There's also a gentleman in Red Sand, and a priest in Fay Harbor. There's a few notable figures who are members.
Wait, the priest, is that Boots' friend, Seda?
Seda Malore? Yeah, he's a member.
He's an archivist.
Yeah, that's his title, yeah. That's a religious thing, the archivist title. That's like a high up in that knowing mistress theology organization.
Alright, learn something new every day.
Yeah. It also happens to be a profession, because he does do a lot of recording of things and archivist stuff, but it also happens to be his religious title.
Ah.
But yeah, I've known Seda about 7 years.
He's a nice guy.
He is. He's a very nice half-elf. I've never had a problem with him. And you continue on in a friendly banter until you get outside. And you are hit by the cold. It's not frigid, but it's decidedly cooler here, and there is a bit of frost and that snow that is just sticking on the ground. And you get a cold wind whoosh, as it blows over you, and you get that smell of like fresh snow and deep woods, kind of that earthy, piney smell, and with a clean, crisp snow accent at the end of it. And you just hear like the breeze through the trees, the occasional twittering of a bird, and you are in a forest somewhere.
This is
I guess
gorgeous.
lead the way.
I like forests.
Yeah, it's pretty up here, no doubt about it. Spent some time here over the years trying to, find certain things and follow rumors and such. Again, I'm not sure exactly where Craghold is, where the ruins are, but I've got a few ideas. I think they're somewhere between here and the Balageds, which are a bit more north, about 5 days north or so.
The Balahuzits?
The Balaged Range. It's a range of mountains, even north than these threat spires. And he points back behind him, and you turn your head, Nereus, and you see, like, what you came out of was kind of like a foothill, and then it kind of sharply goes up very quickly into a full mountain range, probably like 5 to 10 miles behind you. It's just peaks of mountains.
Okay.
But that's to your south, and he kind of is leading you to the north.
Do we see mountains to the north as well?
You don't, but it's also heavily wooded here. It's just because you were close to these ones, you could see them up through the trees in the clearing, kind of around the entrance to the cave.
Can we see the sky at all, or is it just a very thick forest?
You can see patches of sky here and there, yeah, but it is also a very dense forest. At least here it is. It might get more spread out as you travel, but it is fairly well dense. You can see a lot of the trees that have them have lost their leaves, but there's also a fair number of like evergreen conifers that are interspersed among them. So it's mixed bag, but you do have an eye on the sky, as it were.
Is it dark in the forest? Like, is that how thick the cover is, or is it?
No, it is not. It is not dark or dim light. It's just like woods in the morning.
Okay, I just wasn't sure how like thick the canopy.
Make a nature check, Nereus.
Oh, okay. My strong suit.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently it is 19.
Today it is.
Looking at these trees, you can tell with 100% certainty, Nereus,
It's a
that
tree.
if all these trees had their leaves and all the evergreens were in their full growth or whatever, it would be pretty dense and block out a lot of the light. The branches are really thick, and it looks like they spread and kind of intermingle. So it would be a different story if you were here in the middle of summer.
Okay.
The sky we can see, is it clear? Is it cloudy?
There are a few clouds, but it's not like gloomy. It's
Nice day.
it's a fairly decent day. It's a cold, overcast kind of day, but not like dreary and drizzly. Great. So, Trip looks at you all, says, well, I guess we head this way. And he heads off in a direction atop his mighty steed, Kruthi. And away you go. So, Trip is going to make a survival check, which, if anybody wants to help him,
Can I help him? I am proficient in such a thing.
yes, then you can absolutely help him. So he will do that. Very cool. Yeah, so he leads you unerringly kind of northwards. from where y'all are at the moment. And you seem to have no problem for many hours. And it looks like it's smooth sailing around here. There are a few like birds that you see fly by, a few like geese overhead that are obviously migrating south. It seems like this is an area where most things are kind of gearing up for the winter. There's a few like animals that kind of like scurry off like a squirrel here or there. Just kind of getting ready for cold, cold winter. Cool. So hours pass as you head north, and eventually Trip calls for a stop for lunch, and you all have a little snacky snack.
Yay, snacky snack.
Things get started again, and I would like somebody to roll me a d10, please.
Oh, what did I just do? There we go.
Great.
Oh,
Roll a 6.
Cool. All right. So things are progressing along nicely, and around mid-afternoon, you see a flock of birds fly overhead. And then
What kind of birds?
make a nature check, Olive. They're high up, but go for it.
15.
They seem to be some kind of pigeon.
Oh,
ugh.
Could I use my eagle eye vision to pinpoint exactly what kind of birds they are?
Make a nature check.
So it's a straight nature check, no advantage.
Your sight doesn't grant you advantage on perception checks. But I'll say it like lowers the DC for you a little bit. But as far as you can tell, it's some kind of pigeon.
but
You-
they're smallish birds. It's not like a.
What you can see that Olive could not is they seem to be kind of like they have a brown kind of chest and like a darker gray kind of wings and head, and like the wings are speckled with black occasionally. They got red eyes. Kind of a not like a curved beak, but like a slight like downturned beak, I guess, just at the tip, instead of like a straight beak. And like long tail feathers. But seems to be some kind of pigeon, but you don't know pigeon species necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what you see. And then about 20 minutes later, you see another group of pigeons. And then there's another group and another group. And you begin to hear a thrumming. And I would like all of you to make a perception check, please. Nice.
Yeah,
There
I
you
rolled
go.
like a strong suit on that one.
I got
One
this,
of
guys.
us.
That's more
Two of
like
us.
it.
Two of us can tell what's happening.
Well, Defect and Olive, with such high rolls, you look out in the direction, and you can all kind of hear this thrumming. Everyone else is kind of looking around.
Is it helicopters?
Yeah. Even Trip seems to be unsure of exactly where it's coming from. But what you two notice that is interesting is that when you look off to the distance, kind of to the east, you see a massive cloud moving towards you, which is the opposite direction of all the clouds in the sky.
Is it a dark cloud?
It is a dark cloud, and what you see is what you two are able to discern is this is a massive cloud of pigeons that is flying, that is about to fly over you. They're coming for you. They will be above you in minutes. You cannot fathom how large this group is. It literally is going to block out the sun.
Olive would like to turn into a pigeon.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yes, speak with Pigeon.
While Olive does that, I'll suggest that perhaps we find a place to hide under, because those pigeons look shady, just
Trip.
like in real life.
Trip looks at you and he's like, pigeons? I mean, so it's a group of pigeons. What's the problem? I mean, they're loud, but I don't know what the problem's going to be.
Point in the direction of the pigeons and say, have you ever seen a flock of pigeons that big?
His eyes widen. And he's like, and he's going to make a history check, which he is good at.
Olive is going to take to the air as a pigeon.
Oh,
And,
but not with that roll. But he looks at you, Defect, and says, I have never in all my days heard of or seen a flock of pigeons that size. So all of you become a pigeon and you fly up to the air.
yeah. I'll try to blend in.
Yeah, the vanguard quickly overtakes you, and you see that all these pigeons are just flying east to west. Like it's must be some kind of migratory thing, but they are just. Do you all continue? Olive, are you gonna try to fight the directions of all these, like, or are you going to go with the flow? Like, what are you doing in this cloud of pigeons?
Well, I'm just joining the cloud of pigeons. I'm just blending in and going where they go.
This is
All right.
This is how Olive leaves us.
All right, you blend in with the pigeons, and soon you realize you're a mile away from your friends. And then you're 2 miles away from your friends. And the pigeons are
And like,
keeping going.
is there anything different about? Like, I'm gonna drop down to the bottom of the pigeon flock.
Sure.
And look below us. Like, is anything new and interesting happened down there?
No, but you just see that it is, because you joined the vanguard, so you just look behind you and it is a dark blot of these brown and gray pigeons just all flying within wingspans of each other. And like they are like above trees, like they aren't even like stopping to like land. They're just flying.
Can I get below?
If you go under the tree line, yeah. Because they're all flying up above it. Alright, so you veer off. Yeah.
Does anyone do anything?
No, the pigeons don't care. They're pigeons.
Alright, I will fly back the way I came then, now that I'm...
Cool. Meanwhile, Olive has turned into a pigeon and disappeared. What are the rest of you doing?
Do we wait or keep going?
Keep walking.
We can
the
keep
direction.
going.
5 minutes goes by and she's still not back.
They went off in what direction?
So they are flying east to west.
And we are going north and south?
You are heading north from south.
Right.
Olive
Well-
will find us. They're resourceful.
Right?
I'm
What
sure
if
they
we
know what they're
just-
doing.
Keep yelling.
10 minutes goes by and no Olive. But you do see that the cloud of pigeons has gone from like being a lot of pigeons to being an incalculable amount of pigeons.
Why are there so many?
They are flying overhead.
Are they leaving New York?
Is
what?
it like never ending?
You have no idea how big this is.
Hey, how many pigeons do you think?
You can make a nature check to see if you can calculate how big this field of pigeons, this flock of
That
pigeons
sounds
is.
like fun. Yeah. 22.
Cool. Greg, based on how fast they're flying and how dense they are getting the further in and how much light they are blocking out, it's almost like dim light because they are blocking so much light.
That's crazy.
You figure you're like 3 miles deep in pigeons, for lack of a better term, but this is still the beginning of the swarm.
What the
This
fuck?
does not feel natural.
No.
I do
I
suggest
think they're
we
running from something.
finding a-
Maybe we go where they're flying from.
I suggest perhaps we hide somewhere.
20 minutes later, after that, so 30 minutes after Olive left, she's still not back.
Pigeons
Do we
fly
know
fast, I
how-
guess.
Do we know how long her spell lasts for? It's
Hours.
hours. Okay, so
Yeah, you know that she can shapeshift for like 8 hours or something like that.
yeah.
6 point. And I could do it again if I needed to.
Well, again, I think Olive is capable of finding us. Just keep going. Unless you guys want to hide from the pigeons.
I don't know, but the pigeons are starting to freak me out.
Well, I think we should find out what they're running from.
The pigeons are
Be
getting
a curiosity.
darker and denser, and pretty soon there is no sky except for this flock, this unimaginable flock of pigeons just flying. And about 10 minutes later, Olive returns, or at least a pigeon returns, and sets
The other
down
pigeons?
by you.
The other pigeons.
What's up,
The
Defect?
other pigeons are. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Are the pigeons just flying above us? Or are they flying down, lower to us, or?
No, they're flying above the canopy, above you. They don't seem to have any interest in you.
Okay. I was afraid we had to fight a flock of pigeons.
Yeah, that was like TPK pigeons.
That'd be, yeah.
I was like,
Well,
all right. I was ready to bring in my axe and just swing at pigeons all night. Okay, but Olive comes down. All right.
Is there a pigeon language? Like eagles have a language. Could Olive understand anything that the pigeons were saying while she was flying with them?
No, pigeons don't have a language. They're just pigeons.
Fair. Some birds have languages.
Giant eagles and giant owls have languages, but other than that, not so much.
What?
I like where your head's at, though. Yeah. So you all head on your way, having reunited with Olive. Do you drop beast form or do you continue as pigeon?
Continuous pigeon for a little while. This is kind of fun.
Cool. So there is one pigeon that has like landed and like followed your group. You think it's Olive, but it's hard to know for sure. It is a little greener than, or a little grayer than some of the other pigeons.
Olive will do something stupid and unpigeon-like.
You're pretty sure it's Olive.
Wait, I want to know exactly what that was.
She landed on Defect's head and swatted at him with her wings and then took off again.
That sounds like a normal pigeon to me.
Kill it.
It does. I'd like everybody, including Olive, to roll a d20 for me.
Just a straight D20?
Straight d20.
Oh, man.
There we go.
Nice.
Get it out of the way.
Or Or is it just the beginning?
Olive and Greg and Nereus, you each get peppered by bird shit.
Delicious. Sounds about right.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah, easy enough to do. You're having trouble hearing each other through all the noise of the flapping of all these wings. It is cacophonous. So right now, all perception checks based on hearing have disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
You all continue through, and the pigeons are still flying. Greg, based on your earlier roll, you think like you are like 10 miles deep in pigeons at this point of this swarm.
Is there like a portal to the Pigeon Wild or something?
Right?
It is
Like-
crazy. Time goes on. You're having trouble hearing each other, and soon there's so many pigeons that they are now flying like below the canopy. They've taken up all they can in the sky, and now they're like flying around you, and it's getting difficult to traverse the area as now the pigeons are just everywhere. Like, they must be so wide and so high at this point. Greg, you think about 20 miles of pigeons have passed you at this point.
Wait, I want to try something here.
But they're flying across us. They're not flying the same direction.
Yeah, you're going like crossways. So like you're going north and they're coming in this way. But they are like flying amongst you. Just because there's no physical Z dimension that they can go in that is not under the canopy at this point. So they are just like flocking around you. It's like that scene in The Birds, except they're not seagulls, they're pigeons.
Oh, good.
That's comforting.
And they're not like actively trying to kill you. They're just flying around you. And so your pace is therefore slowed as a result of all this craziness.
But I would like to try commune with nature.
Okay.
If we have time to stop and let me cast this.
It's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, if the party allows me to.
I guess. I mean, we could keep going. How wide is this whole thing?
I mean,
Like,
you
north to south.
have probably in the past couple hours, like you stopped for a bit, waited for Olive,
But we're still working our way north, and there are still.
and there's still pigeons. You've probably covered about 10 miles or so.
But we're going north, and the pigeons are flying
East.
towards the west
And there
or
are
east.
still pigeons.
They're flying west.
Oh,
They're flying west.
Yeah.
a lot of fucking pigeons.
Yeah, it is massive. It's almost like a hurricane in a way. Like it is just massive as you're moving through. So you sit down and you commune with nature, Defect.
And what I would like to know is if there is an influence from other planes of existence.
What's the range? 3 miles?
3 miles. Yep.
You do not get a sense of extraplanar influence.
Okay. What about? Let's do this. Fiends. Do I sense any fiends near me?
You do not.
Near us? What about buildings?
You do not.
All right, negatory on everything. All right, well, I get up from the ground and say, let's keep going.
I guess there's no answers there. Fucking birds.
Yeah, about 45 minutes later, Greg, you think like 25 miles of pigeons have passed by you now. And you are all like stumbling through, making your way. And I'd like you all to make perception checks based on sight alone at this point.
I just don't know what like environment. Oh, well, shit.
How are there pigeons in the icy frostlands?
Nice guys.
I just want to know what ecosystem can sustain this many.
They might be looking for one.
All the
That might be the
pigeons from
problem.
all over the universe have convened and are trying to run away.
The pigeon multiverse.
Well, what you see, Greg and Olive, what you see is roiling towards you is a condensed body of pigeons. Like imagine the eye of a hurricane almost, but made entirely of pigeons. Like it's almost like it's an entity of itself, a true swarm in the vernacular. You see it roiling towards you, and all of a sudden, huh?
I'm gonna stop being a pigeon.
Okay.
Is there a pigeon queen inside of the horde?
Right?
Who's to say? But you swath through, or it swaths right over you, and you are all, and it just swaths over you. Everybody roll me a d20, please, including Spoot, and I will do one for Trip.
What am I doing? I'm rolling a straight d20.
Yep.
No, I apparently rolled twice, so.
That's an 8.
Okay, so Nereus, which one do you want to be for you, and which one do you want to be for Spoot?
I'll take the 9.
Great. Defect and Nereus, please roll again. Roll again, and this time each of you roll a different number.
Don't tell me what to do.
You're not the boss of me.
All right.
All right, 19.
Okay. Defect and Grig. This kind of makes sense, as you were two of the people who kind of like noticed this thing and have been the most leery of it. You get. You each get buffeted by wings from this like central creature, or not creature, but this central swarm in the middle of whatever this flock is. That is a 26 to hit defect for 24 bludgeoning damage, and I need a strength saving throw, and a 17 to hit Grig. Actually, a 25 because you weren't expecting this, so technically at advantage.
Yeah.
So 25 to hit for 21 bludgeoning, and you must make a strength save.
Oh, not my night.
Nope, me neither.
Both of you are knocked prone, flat on the ground, and I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
We are fighting a flock of pigeons.
I knew it.
Dreams
There's
come
no way
true.
we weren't going to.
Oh, I failed to select my token first.
Way to fail. Who's going to run Spoot tonight?
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
I do not have
Can I
it
take
together.
that second roll? Jesus Christ. I mean, I could do Spoot.
Okay, great. Cool.
How much damage did I do? I just realized 21 you said?
You take 21 damage, yes.
Great.
Ba-ba-ba-da. All right, Tanner, you should have control of Spoot's token now.
Okay.
Let's roll some initiatives here.
Where?
All right. Olive failed to select her token. What did you roll, Olive?
6.
6. Great. Wonderful. All right. Nice. All right. So, Defect and Greg, you are both on the ground.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm going to say that since Trip has been guiding you, he and Kruthi are a bit ahead of you all. Yeah. So you are both prone on the ground. Prone. And prone. And as you are prone, something has swept over you. And let's go to the map.
Oh god, there's a map.
Yeah.
Yay.
There's some art that we'll show you here.
Ooh.
A single evil pigeon that is excessively large.
Indeed.
Giant pigeon.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
let's
there's a one in there.
let's check this action out here. Bum-ba-da, here we go. All right. So what you see is indeed a swarm of these like underthroat and these pigeons are slightly different than the other pigeons around them. They seem to have more intent and a maliciousness to them. And what they do, and they are like swarming around your entire group. They are within you. And so, let's see. I'm going to roll random here. There's... Alright, so... Defect and Olive,
Yeah.
you get buffeted. Defect, you're prone, so it's got advantage on you. It's a 21 to hit for 28 bludgeoning damage, but you're already prone, so you don't need to make the save. And Olive, that is a 10 to hit you.
That misses.
Nice. Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
I still have pigeon reflexes. Can dodge.
Yeah. You're able to avoid whatever, like, the pigeons are hitting you, but they're not hitting you in a way where, like, you're taking damage from it, whereas they have just, like, pummeled Defect in this roiling Kamehameha spirit bomb formation that is happening around you right now.
Pigeon bomb!
Pigeon
Why are the
bomb!
pigeons attacking us?
Pigeon bomb! Nereus, that brings us to you. Oh, did you roll initiative for Spoot, by the way?
Oh, I did not.
Why don't you click his token and roll some initiative for him, too?
Oh, crap.
13.
Wrong one.
Great.
13.
Cool. All right, go for it.
That's a big bird.
It is a very big bird.
Wait, is it my turn or is it Spoot? Whose turn is it?
It is Nereus's turn. Trip is on deck, and then Defect and Spoot.
Okay. My mouse is giving me so many issues. Does this... Can I roll an Arcana on this bird?
Yeah, go for it. It is not a bird, it is a swarm of much smaller birds, akin to like a rat swarm or an insect swarm.
Oh, never mind. A 10.
It doesn't appear to be magical in any way.
Okay.
It's just it's just like a gargantuan swarm of birds.
How
I don't know why this is so funny, but it is.
I don't know what to do with this. um,
And like
how close
the map
is
doesn't show it, but all around you, it is just like it's other birds around this central swarm of birds. So like it
only
is
the
definitely,
central swarm of birds is being aggressive.
yeah. It seems like there's something about being in the center of this flock, maybe.
How close is the big swarm to, like the mean swarm to my allies?
It is surrounding you. Like,
They were in-
like all of you are currently encompassed within the swarm.
Within the angry swarm, not the normal
Correct.
swarm.
Correct.
Well, I can't fireball the group. Well, I mean, I can.
Do you have spell shaping? Come on.
I,
Is that not a thing that sorcerers do?
if only I was an evocation wizard, then I wouldn't give a shit.
Okay.
Actually,
What you got?
let me try this. On us, like centered, what is it? A 100-foot cube on us.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do control winds,
Okay.
and I'm gonna blast wind upwards to try to like have it so, like the birds funnel up, as like make the wind as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Mm-hmm.
that make any sense?
Yeah, it totally does.
So like, 'cause I figure
cool.
pigeons are really light and they might not be able to fight it, and they'll just like.
Yeah. This is interesting. Okay, cool. What's your spell save DC?
20. It's a 20 strength.
Oof, okay. So you summon these wings and you blast this column of air straight up. Are you doing it like at ground level? Like the swarm that you're all in? Because if you are, that's fine. It just means every one of your friends will also have to make a strength save, including you.
I guess. Wait, hold on. That's one of the things listed on the spell is updraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like if you do it above of you all, like 10 feet in the air, then like it won't affect any of you. But if you do it at ground level, it will.
Well, the only thing is it says. Oh wait, I can put it in display. There we go. The bottom one. It only increases our jump distance. But I fit like would it? But like we're heavier than a pigeon.
Ah, okay.
Does that make sense? Because like downdraft is the one where they have to fight against it.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
figuring that how light a pigeon is, it might not be able to.
Cool. Yeah, this is fun. You know what? Go ahead, make an Arcana check for me, and it's gonna do a contested, just flying check.
We're gonna re-roll that.
Let's see. It's a
sorcery.
bird. It probably uses its dex to fly.
Well, it's a strength save, no? It would follow my. DC.
Well, the downdraft calls for a strength saving throw.
Okay. I wasn't.
Because we're kind of like doing something fun and interesting with the updraft ability. And these are creatures that are used to flying, and when you fly, you have to fight updrafts. So I'm going to give them their dex, which is more or less the same score. But they're just making a straight check. They're not doing a save. So no proficiency bonus.
Okay.
But they do, however, beat your score and your spell save, actually. They rolled really well.
Shit.
Yeah, they rolled a 23. So while there are birds that do like flutter and weigh, and like a good chunk like do fly up, unable to resist, it seems like those birds are replaced by other birds that become a part of the swarm.
Okay. Well, all birds within 10 feet of me
Mm-hmm.
take damage.
Oh yeah, cool. As part of the spell.
That's just Storm Sorcerer whenever I cast a spell of first level or higher.
Oh great. Yeah, roll that damage.
Oh, no, it's just straight damage. Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
Glasses. They all take 6 lightning damage within 10 feet of me.
All right. So you see this like spark of like static electricity like bounce off of you as you cast this controlling wind spell, and a couple birds like go and like fly off in different directions, smoking. Seems to have bothered some things, but that roiling swarm in the middle is still there. Next up, unless you have anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Nereus.
No, I think that's it.
Cool. So you blast off this gust of wind and electricity. Trip with Defect on deck. Trip, never having seen anything like this before, it doesn't know what to do. So he is just going to kind of aim at the swarm and fire a ray of frost at it. You see this like beam of cold kind of blast into the storm, and it hits a bird, and a bird falls down covered in frost. Doesn't look like it does too much damage, but it definitely hurt it, which is good. Yeah. Cool. Next up, Defect with Spoot on deck, followed by Greg and Olive. So Defect, you are prone on the ground.
I shall rage and get up.
Yeah.
Proud.
I rage off the ground, and
Yeah, this cloud of birds beat you down twice. Like, that is so insulting.
very insulting. Is there a part of the swarm that looks thickest?
It's impossible to tell. You just know that you're in the middle of it.
All right. Well, then Defect is going to do what Defect always does and swing his axe.
Yeah, go for it. Aim for the swarm.
Right? All right, let me... And
I'm waiting for that axe pun. A 22 and a 29 will both hit.
awesome.
So that is 33 damage.
Yeah. Not too shabby.
Cool. You notice that even though you do two mighty swings, it does not have as much of an effect.
That's what I was afraid of.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I messed that up. There we go. Haha. Yeah, because you're attacking a swarm of tiny creatures, trying to like do significant damage with a massive slashing weapon is very difficult. But you take out a swath of them anyway, but they're still whirling around.
Okay.
Anything else on your turn, Defect?
Nope, that's it.
Very cool. We go then to Spoot with Grig on deck. So, Nearest, what will Spoot do?
You know what seems really handy right now? The Spirit Guardians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
Alright, so
bonk.
oh yeah, I can't take spells off on his sheet. Alright, so I'll just yeah. So Spirit Guardians, the radiant damage.
Yeah. You see now swimming, sort of floating between the massive swirling and flying cloud of birds are also these spectral turtles and tortoises, just kind of buffeting into one another, causing all kinds of chaos. Trip shouts, "What the hell's going on here?"
Air's very thick here.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. So Spoot, that's a concentration spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Spoot's thinking on that. Anything else from Spoot?
No, that's it.
All right. We go to Grig with Olive on deck.
Okay, so.
You are prone on the ground currently.
Okay, I'll get up.
Okay.
Basically, how high above us does this also go? Like, can we tell? Is it down on ground level, and I can like see it.
I mean, imagine a giant swarm of birds that's like constantly swarming around you, because that's what it is. So it's hard to
it goes up
gauge.
above, all around.
Yeah, you know that you're in a massive cloud of these things. The flock is huge, but this particular swarm, you're not quite sure how big it is.
Okay. Can I, through any of the chaos, like, can I still designate a spot that is maybe above us?
Well,
If I'm casting an area of effect spell, like...
yeah, go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage.
5.
Yeah, sure.
That's not encouraging.
I mean, you know what's above your head.
That's fair. That's
You're
fair.
shorter than the rest of us.
Also true. Okay. Well, then we're just gonna... Can I see where the rest of my party is still? Are we
You can see Defect and Spoot next to you, although like there are birds like flying between you, and you can kind of make out the shapes of Olive and Nereus not too far away, and Trip and Kruthi off to the north there. But it is like, like you see them and then birds fly by your face, and then it's like.
But I'm not like blinded and completely disoriented.
You're not blinded or disoriented. It's just hard to gauge things like distance and detail with like, shutter effects going all the time.
And okay, I think what I'm gonna do is crap, and it's difficult terrain, so I will basically, looking at the map, think I'm too close to the edge to do what I want without and still hit creatures. So I'm gonna move to Spoot's other side.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do a thunder wave.
Cool.
Pointing this direction.
Okay, just kind of pointing back to those trees.
Yeah, just toward a chunk of birds to see if I can clear some of them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, a big chunk of birds goes. And does it do anything other than damage?
Thunder wave should push anything failed saves. So they do saves. Creature takes 2d8, push 10 feet away from you. On a successful save, they take half as much damage and are not pushed.
Very cool. Yeah, so you see the swarm of birds, or a chunk of them, gets pushed away from you.
Does that give me any perspective to how deep it is? Like, once they get pushed?
Yeah, it seems like the swarm itself is about, like 20 or... It seems like the central core of it's like 20 feet, maybe. But there's, it's birds beyond that, and it's hard to tell what, like... I mean, if this is the middle of the swarm, it's got 25 miles of birds around it. Like, you figured that out from your observations earlier.
Of the angry swarm that's attacking us.
Yeah, that seems to be like the central, like, 20 or so feet.
Okay. Cool. And it still seems like I'm in the center of that swarm? Or does it seem like...
I mean, it did get pushed. Like, you saw a bunch of the birds, like, threw out. It didn't have, like, the full effect, because it's a swarm of things. But it did seem to, like, push the bulk of it. What is it? 5 feet? Or, no, 10 feet.
10. Yeah.
10 feet.
Okay. So it feels... okay.
Yeah, like you feel like that you pushed the center swarm, like, kind of south. So you think that you're out of the center swarm right now, but not all of your friends are.
Great. Good talk.
Anything else?
No. That's going to be what I do for now.
All right. Olive, that brings us to you.
Olive is going to look up at the swarm, and can I cast Cone of Cold straight up?
Absolutely, you can.
That is what I would like to do, is cast Cone of Cold straight up into the swarm.
Yeah.
A con save.
Yeah, that is 100% a failure. So the swarm takes 38 cold damage.
Is it going to rain frozen birds?
Indeed, like, there are so many birds that just freeze in mid-flight and just fall like hailstones. You see wings shatter and crash as frozen bird statues open up like gruesome Christmas eggs. Or gruesome Easter eggs at Christmas time, however you want to go with that analogy. But they are cracked open, split apart, turned to ice. The swarm still exists, but a good chunk of it has been removed. Anything else, Olive?
No, that was it. That was my big...
All right, we are back to the Feathered Tide. The Feathered Tide has to make a saving throw against Spoot, right? A wisdom save. That is a 12, so that is a failure. So go ahead, roll damage on Spirit Guardians, Tanner, for Spoot.
Sorry, I was reading a text. What?
They failed their wisdom save against Spoot's Spirit Guardian, so go ahead, roll damage.
There it is.
They take some radiant damage, right? Oof, 18 radiant damage. Dang, that is a lot. Oof. Okay. Well, that is fantastic. So, what happens is the swarm moves kind of back over, encompassing, so it's covering you all, and it begins to swirl in retaliation for the damage and the hurt that you've done to it. And I need everybody to make a strength saving throw as what was a conglomeration of birds picks up speed, becomes a corkscrew, and begins to fly faster and faster around all of you. And you can feel the bottoms of your clothes beginning to lift up.
We're not doing anything to like prevent it.
Actually, it's amplifying it.
Oh shit.
Because what they are doing is they're using the winds to create a funnel effect, a corkscrew. And actually, so I guess this save, the DC would increase. I'm going to say the DC increases by 2 because of the aid of Nereus's environmental effects.
Doesn't matter. I'll roll with natural 1.
Okay. We got Spoot. Grig, that is a failure. Olive, that is a failure. Defect, you're raging. You have advantage on strength saves right now, right? Is that true? Double check.
Just for
Is it just athletic checks?
yeah. Let me double check.
Nereus, you just fail, and Spoot fails as well.
Oh, that is true.
So you do have advantage.
Roll one more time. Yep.
All right, cool. Cool.
No,
So 18 stands. 18 is the adjusted DC because of the wind effect. Everybody else in this group, you feel your clothes, your gear begin to flutter and raise up as suddenly you are all launched 120 feet into the air.
Oh, damn.
So you are thrown up into the air, and then you immediately fall back down to where you were, falling prone. All of you take 36 bludgeoning damage as you impact the ground, having been tossed up, thrown into a bunch of pigeons 120 feet, breaking through branches and everything, and then crashing back onto the ground. Poof.
If only I'd
You said
prepped Featherfall.
36?
36 bludgeoning damage. So I believe your armor reduces that, Olive.
Yes.
You should be able to adjust Spoot's token, I think, Tanner, his hit points. So, Nereus and Spoot both need to make Constitution saves. The DC is 13. No, sorry, 18. Spoot saves on Spirit Guardians. And Nereus just fails, but if it does that thing again, the DC goes back down, so that's good. So you lose your control winds.
You said I took how much damage?
36, so the DC was 18. Okay. So you all get blasted up, and then fall back down. Everyone except Defect is currently prone as a result of falling and smashing into the ground. And that is the turn of the Feathered Tide. That brings us to Nereus. It is your turn. You are prone on the ground, covered in snow, and quite sore.
Yeah.
It's a
Let's
frozen
see.
bird.
Kind of do fuck up these birds.
They continue to swarm around you all.
I mean, yep.
Trip is on deck.
You know what? I haven't used this spell in a long time. Alright. Nereus is gonna stand up
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, I don't think this would work the way I want. I was thinking Globe of Invulnerability, but that's only on spells.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes, it does have a drawback.
Should I fight them with an insect plague? Or would that
Yes.
just make them hungrier?
Who's to say?
Um,
What you got?
I don't even fucking know. It's just birds above me, right? Fireball.
All right. Cool. Go ahead. Just make a sight-based perception check for me.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So you cast Fireball above you. You absolutely get the birds. Unfortunately, you misjudge a bit of the direction. I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw, including Nereus, against Nereus's Fireball.
Shit.
Just want
I
to
didn't
get
think about
advantage on it too.
Nereus has set himself on fire.
Your DC is a 20 now?
Yeah.
Wild.
Oh, it's all on fire.
Funnily, the only two who saved were Trip with a 23 and Kruthy with a 20.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I get advantage, so I saved as well.
Yes, you do. You did. I guess I should roll for the birds, too. Oh my god, the birds saved with a 22.
You're
No.
kidding me.
Thanks, Nereus.
Hey, it's still... They still take damage. 13 damage to the birds. Everybody else takes 26 fire damage.
Yeah, I'm out.
You're
So
unconscious?
Yeah.
Greg falls unconscious.
Welcome back. I'm dead again.
Back, Nereus.
Not quite, but kind of.
Oof.
Dumbass! What was that for?
It's hard. You can't blame him for misjudging distance in the flock of birds that exists here.
No, but he's within an arm's
Spoot, however, does maintain. Actually, wait. Everybody except Defect and Nereus was still prone. So I take it back. Everybody who was prone did not take the fire damage because it was just above you.
Wait, so I was prone?
Yeah, you were prone because of the bird cyclone.
Right. They threw me up and down. Yeah. That's...
So Defect, you take the 13 because you saved. Trip and Kuthri saved, so they take 13. The bird saved, they take 13. Nereus, however, takes the full brunt because he was standing. So I guess it was a good thing you all got knocked prone. Which is great. So good job. That's very fortuitous. Yeah, but you all feel the intense heat as it's like right above you, and you know that if you had been standing at that moment, you would have been blasted by this fireball. Defect, you're just like
eyebrows.
Yeah.
Trip is going to do the same thing again. He is not designed for this sort of action, so he's just Ray of Frosting. Oh, that's nice. Too bad it's at disadvantage. So his Ray of Frost kind of pings off to the far side this time, not having much of an effect. But we go to Defect with Spoot on deck.
So I'm swinging my axe again at the thickest part of this swarm.
Yeah, do it.
That's a nat 20.
Natural 20, very nice.
Cool. So I swing my axe again.
Mm-hmm.
A 15 to hit.
15 just hits, very nice.
Cool. And because I did crit, I get a bonus attack.
Bonus action attack. 25 hits.
25 to hit.
Yep, because you're not reckless, right?
I'm not reckless. No.
Okay. All 3 hit. So, woof, that's a lot of damage. That's 21, 35, plus another 15, 40, 50 damage. Woof.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Also
so...
because I did crit, the target has disadvantage on their attacks until the start of my next turn. Let me double check that.
Yeah, double check that.
It's my slasher. It's a slasher feat.
Oh, right, because you took slasher. Fantastic. Yeah, so you slash in and you, like, decimate, like, large portions. You're definitely thinning out this thing. This, like, grouping is thinning out, and you can feel it, like, beginning to let up on all your friends. We go now to Spoot. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sorry. Until the start of my next turn, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. Spoot is prone on the ground, Tanner. What is he going to do? He's maintaining concentration on Spirit Guardians.
After seeing Nereus is being messing up, I'm gonna just actually. You said the birds are thinning out. Yeah.
They're thinning.
Actually, instead of healing word, I'll do a mass cure wounds.
All right. So Spoot stands up and does mass cure wounds. Go ahead, roll that beautiful heal footage. Is that radius or number of creatures?
6 creatures in a 30-foot radius.
So you can get everybody, including Trip and Kruthi.
You said that gets everybody? You
Yep.
cut out a little bit. Okay.
Yep, it gets everybody, including Trip and Kruthi.
How low?
But that's more than 6 creatures.
Oh. I rolled 24 twice.
Nice.
So everybody gets 24.
Cool. I guess it's either Trip or Kruthi. Which one would Spoot like to heal?
Spoot's doing actually okay on health. So I'll do both of them.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Great. Next up, then, we've got Grig. Prone on the ground, like, from your flight into the air.
Yep. I will just get up and I'm gonna do the same thing. Thunder wave in the general direction. Get
Wonderful.
away from my pals.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
All right.
DC 17, con save.
Oh, yeah, they fail.
Great. They get pushed 10 feet away and they take 10 damage.
Yeah.
Carlo, what are you eating?
Yeah, the swarm gets pushed down again. Anything else from you, Grig?
No.
All right. That brings us to Olive, prone on the ground, flat on your back.
Olive's going to stay on the ground
Okay.
because this seems like a safe enough place to be. And
get
cast another
that.
cone of cold straight up.
Cool. How tall are you, Nereus?
5'7".
Okay. It just barely If you were 6 feet tall, it would have nicked you. But you feel this blast of cold rush by as Olive bursts a blast of cold. Oh wait, how tall is Spoot? Check his height.
Features and traits. I don't think I can see that.
Let me check.
Yeah, it's in the description.
Cool. And you can't see it?
I don't. Yeah, no, I can't see his description.
All right. Well, let's see. Do. Description. He is exactly 6 feet tall, which means Spoot needs to make the saving throw as well.
Oh no!
It's a cone.
It's a con save.
It is a con save.
Wah wah. Sorry, Spoot.
Oh, so Spoot takes it all. Spoot takes 36 points of cold damage.
Boot thought he was good on health.
And has to make a con save against Spirit Guardians. It's 18 once again.
Wah wah.
All right, so Spirit Guardians falls away. But as all of you blast up this cone of cold, just bypassing Nereus, feeling that blast of cold air, getting Spoot in the head, and he wasn't expecting it. It shakes off and it blasts his concentration, and the Spirit Guardians fade away. You blast through the heart of this typhoon of crazy pigeons, and you feel them all, see them all like freeze up, coating with ice, and begin falling around you. And the swarm clears with that blast of damage. As the swarm disperses, the flock flies by, and you realize that the center of this massive flock of birds is passing you by, and it has that whatever that driving force at the center was that was attacking you is gone, and that is where we are going to take a 5-minute break.
Pearl's going to stand up at the end of her turn.
Yeah. Fantastic job, everybody. Thank you all for sticking with us. We'll be back in 5 minutes. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you after this short rest.
Nice.
Hello, everyone. We are back, and Matt has returned, so Spoot is back being Spoot. Thank you, everyone, for being up. Good job with this battle. So, where we pick up, you are still surrounded by this incredible flock of pigeons, this 50-mile wide swarm of pigeons. You have defeated whatever crazy force was at the center driving it, but it's still passing over you. It's going to be some hours before it's fully bypassed you at this point. But Olive, you are able to get yourself up off the ground without any further difficulty. Spoot, you've got a little bit of like ice clung to the side of your head where you got blasted by that final cone of cold that took out the swarm. And you are able to gather yourselves up. Big shout out.
50 miles wide.
50 miles wide of pigeons.
50.
Yes. Two big shout outs right now. First, a big shout out to Renreb, who followed us in the middle of the fight. Don't know why the alert wasn't active. I'll have to look at that. But thank you so much, Renreb, for the follow. And also thank you to Spark Otter, Lucas Zellers, friend of the show, creative content creator, animal activist, conservationist.
Sorry about the pigeons, dude.
Yeah. You can find the Feathered Tide in Animals of Extinction from Mage Hand Press, available soon. If you've acted on Kickstarter, you might have seen it in your virtual rewards, and it will be in the physical book when that gets mailed out. So yes, the Feathered Tide lives in the center of a mass of 50-foot, or sorry, the swarm is always at the center of a cloud of passenger pigeons that is 50 miles in diameter. So, thank you, Lucas Sellers. The book of Extinction, which has this and many other things coming in it, is a really good read so far, and I'm looking forward to further updates. But I saw this and I was like, this needs to be in the game.
Is it the story of how humankind became extinct because of pigeons?
So the book does have that story about passenger pigeons and their extinction. But the point of the book is to kind of give these creatures a second life in TTRPGs. So by creating like monstrous forms of them. So this is the passenger pigeon brought to the nth deadly degree.
Oh, I see. I'm ready for the dodo.
It's actually, the dodo is in the book too.
Well, yeah, you can't talk about extinct birds and not talk about the dodo.
I know. But so big shout out to Lucas. Did a great job. The what was it? The tornado effect was a lot of fun. Glad I got to use that. But that is that. So back into the game. You're all dusting yourselves off. There's dead, frozen pigeons around you. The swarm clears, and you are able to continue your trek. A few more hours go by, and the sky begins to lighten as the final vestiges of this 50-mile wide swarm of passenger pigeons bypasses you all, heading west to who knows where.
So that was a short rest. Is that what I'm hearing?
If you wanted to take one in the middle of a swarm of pigeons, you could try.
Well, we just found out nothing happened, so...
Well, that means you didn't take a short rest, so...
Fine.
No, you can't retroactively do it. Good try, though. I appreciate the hustle.
Are you feeling poorly, Spoot? Do you need some healing?
I need someone to knit me a beanie.
Greg can make you a magic beanie.
I mean, I guess I have like, I probably have some like pillowcases in here still. You could just wrap that around your head.
Alright, Olive feels bad and gives Spoot 8 healing from Healing Word.
Oh, thank you. Perhaps maybe we can take a short rest, though, if that pigeon threat is gone.
I mean, we're still in the wilderness walking with a giant bug.
I think we just keep walking, right?
Yeah.
Until we're not
Yeah, we
inside the
have to.
passenger pigeon swarm.
Mm-hmm.
And we're...
Yeah, after a couple more hours, the swarm bypasses you. And the sky lightens once again. And it is late afternoon. But you can see it just moving off in the distance, just perpetually moving west, veering a little south.
Good riddance.
Flew with them for a little while. I didn't learn anything, but
They don't seem like the nice type.
they were not very talkative.
We're the attentive type.
They were just flying.
Well, you didn't cast Speak with Animals, so...
True. I would have had to do it before I became a pigeon.
Yes, that is true.
Should have turned into that giant hummingbird and you could have scared him off.
There you go.
So you are all moving forward north with Trip and Kruthi. Trip kind of leading the way due north. Well, that was certainly an experience. I've never seen anything like that. So many pigeons.
If I ever see that many pigeons, just kill me.
They were kind
I
of
just-
dumb.
I don't.
Not the smartest pigeons. Or not the smartest.
Are any pigeons smart? Have you seen how they make nests?
Maybe that's why they're extinct. Just kidding.
There was one on my subway stop that literally just laid an egg on a windowsill. There's no nest. It's just egg.
When you gotta go. Where are we actually currently? We're somewhere. Are we technically in the air waste?
No, we're in the north end of the threat spires.
Gotcha.
Like in the foothills just north of the threat spire range.
Oh, I see us on the map. Okay, cool.
In the woods, in a dense forest, walking north.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I obviously missed the conversation with Indiana Jones, but he thinks he knows where to take us.
Trip has told you that he doesn't have exact coordinates. Like, he doesn't know exactly where Craghold is, but he's been researching it off and on for years and has been trying to find it. And that's why he came up here. He heard there was because he was down south somewhere looking for like a certain shard-touched item, and heard there was a group up north that was collecting them. And so he figured he'd come check that out, and heard that they were operating out of some place up north, and he thought the only place it could possibly be was Craghold. So, because he's been looking at it for so long, he was hoping to find it, and he got run off by a group of dark, like black-clad mercenaries with like black ink tattoos, like not like shapeless tattoos, and a orc with a big old nasty glaive and dead eyes.
Now he's traveling with us because he thinks we're scarier than they are, and we might be able to get further.
Well, you know, safety in numbers, and plus, like, he thinks he kind of knows where it might be. He knows where it's not.
That's more than we know.
Yep. That's why we're with him.
And knowing is
Half the battle.
finding friends along the way. Something like that.
Yeah.
I thought what?
There's the friends we made along the way.
I thought that's the true adventure.
No, that's
real
half the
treasure.
battle.
That's the real treasure we find at the end. It's the friendship. It's not gold.
Ew, mushy stuff.
Well, I, for one, am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so glad that this all lined up like it did. And I suppose I'll let him lead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're following wherever he's leading us. We're following him in Kirby.
Yeah, so he's kind of leading you north, and it kind of veers a little bit east off, because, you know, it's not a direct north to south here. So he kind of like veers off, and the day goes by without too much of an incident after the passing of the passenger pigeons.
What's his name again? Skip?
Trip.
Grip.
Trip Sharp Runner.
That's right, Grip Sharprunner. So, Grip, you
Trip.
have...
Trip. Tryp.
That's what I said, booby trap. So you've been chasing down the shard items as well, I hear.
Well, I've been researching lots of things over the years. Artifacts and some of these shard-touched items occasionally pop up. I was looking for one in particular, but I don't know if it's actually real or if it's even a shard-touched item. I just sort of assumed it was based on stories. It might just be a very powerful trident.
Hang on, let me consult my notes. I feel like I have all of them listed somewhere.
Yeah.
Do we
I
have a very
remember it.
We
powerful
definitely do.
I have it. Fragments.
Shard
Blue.
shenanigans should have it in there too.
Pacifist Glacier. Weapon held by crown.
He begins to tell you that it was some artifact called the Revealer.
I don't have a note about the Revealer.
Yeah, you
I
shouldn't.
don't think.
It is new to all of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I better say
Yeah,
I don't have anything about a
trident.
trident.
Like a trident doesn't
Yeah.
sound familiar.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, he's not. He admits that he's not sure it's a trident. He's heard of it described as one, so that's the best he's got to go on.
Well, I won't rule it out. I mean, these shards have been fastened and could be fastened into multiple objects. Possibly. We have also encountered a
Oh,
couple
sure.
of items.
They could be weapons, rings, armor. They can be jewelry. They could be anything, practically.
Well,
I have that the thing in the pacifist glacier was a shield. It could be that. It might not be that.
we haven't heard of it, and I've been researching them myself. So I don't know how much you've learned about this gathering that's happening at Crackhold, or how much you want to know, but
Oh, I don't know anything about it. All I know is I was heading that way, and then me and Kruthi here got waylaid by these mercenaries that I told you all about.
well, it sounds like you're on the right trail then, if they are trying to run you off. No
Oh,
idea
that's
how
one way to look at it.
We're just passing through, I guess, and got lucky. But I believe that place we found you is, well, seems to be an important spot.
Well, it's an old Ibanese library.
Wonder if they've had any reason to go back to it. I have passed through there myself some time ago.
Yeah, I've been there once or twice as well. First time I found it, I didn't find any relics or anything particularly noteworthy. So I just kind of logged its location away for there's nothing living in there, so I logged it away for a potential hideout or escape or whatever. Nothing has ever chased me in there, so I think it works out pretty well.
Yeah, seems to be an alright spot. Thankfully we were able to find it again. I don't want to bore everyone.
How did you get there anyway?
Magic.
Short answer, yeah.
Okay. Because you came in from behind me and above me, and I thought there was only one way in.
Well, we were able to set a sort of a return. How do I describe this? We were able to send ourselves back there because I was able to set a return spot in a location I found.
Handy.
It certainly made the finding you a much shorter and quicker process. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I doubt well would be this way again, but I suppose if we needed to make a quick escape, maybe it could still work the other way.
Well, hey, if you have ways to hop around quickly from place to place, that's always better than, having to do the trek, I guess. Although I like the travel most of the time.
I'm with you. I prefer the journey. Of late, some of our errands have been time sensitive, however. So.
Well, sure, I get that. And he's kind of swaying along on top of Kruthi at the moment, who's just like...
I don't want to bore the rest of the group, but I don't know if you'd be interested in, sharing a few notes with a wannabe scholar on things you might have picked up about this. And
well, sure. What do you want to know?
Well, I'm making a map. You see of our travels and the places we've gone, and I thought perhaps you could help me fill in a few places that I maybe haven't seen yet. Obviously, we're charting this for the first time, and maybe any notes you picked up on the chart items might be something I haven't found yet.
Well, I've never actually found a shard item. That's one of the reasons I was chasing the revealer. But I know that they're powerful artifacts. They're imbued with fragments of the shards that were part of the what is it, the Progenimum Incantus, that big magic gem that clerics are always harking on about.
Yeah, that sounds like the one.
Yeah. Well, that, yeah, they're made from pieces of that are a result of the breaking, and they can have all kinds of crazy abilities and powers. So, you know, probably worth a pretty penny. Gotta fund the expedition somehow.
Well, I'll tell you this. Be careful if you do find any. Because from what we've learned, there's a really nasty bunch, probably not too unlike that group that ran you into the place we found you, that are looking to use them for nefarious ends, and would be willing to do anything to get their hands on one.
Well, I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't find it then, if they're hunting these things.
Yeah, there's some that believe that, at least from what I've researched, that if you gather enough of these, you can amass even more power than one would grant you.
Well, that makes sense. The more powerful stuff people have. I mean, there are all sorts of legends and stories about heroes with magical swords and armors and shields and all kinds of stuff. You know, and archaeologically speaking, the accumulation of power and the fragments when they were whole, or the shards when they were whole, rather, was a big pastime for ancient civilizations. They would go to war if they found out another neighboring society had one, and, you know, just to control it. So getting a full fragment meant you could do all kinds of stuff with it. All kinds of legends sprung up around rulers using the fragments to defeat whole armies, or using them to, you know, grow crops in a matter of hours to feed their people. All sorts of stuff.
See, these are stories that not even I've heard, and I've been doing a little bit of research on these.
Well, you just gotta dig. You know, I'm an archaeologist. It's what I do.
Well, I know they have some great potential for good, but it does seem, unfortunately, there are a few out there now that are looking to use the power for pretty bad reasons. So.
Well, that's like anything. You can use a spear to fish or murder somebody.
This is true. Probably all this.
Something dies.
True. Probably best you didn't find it. Well, at the risk of boring everyone else to sleep, if you've got any information, if you've got any bits of this area already filled in on a map, perhaps, I'd love to take a little note and fill in any pieces I might be missing, if that's all right. And to Jared, I don't know if I'm reaching here, because my mind spoot has been sort of like cataloging our journeys and has a little sort of map going, not too dissimilar to our like map in Roll20. Would it be too much to think that maybe there might be some like points of interest he could fill me in on?
Yeah. He's willing to tell you about, like, you know, like there was a den of like bears over here, so they must kind of range in this area. There, like, he gives you a lot of like that kind of stuff. He doesn't have any like this place is where a wizard lives or anything like that, but he's avoided some natural hazards, and he can tell you like. And it's not like he's covered like every square mile of this area. It's like little patches here and there that he's been in, but he shares that information with you.
Okay, having learned something, I'm satisfied, and will retire to some meditation and inward thinking.
Yeah. So the day grows dark and winds down, and you all can set camp for the evening. So, does anybody want to do anything before resting?
No.
Maybe.
Maybe a little hunting.
Sure, make a survival check.
We're still in more like an alpine environment, right?
25.
Yeah, it's it's a alpine deciduous mix kind of area. You're definitely like out of mountains and in lowlands,
Right.
but it's just forest. But it's not like rocky necessarily.
Okay.
25 is my survival check.
Yeah, you find a den of rabbits and a few wild potatoes and wild onions that are at the end of their cycle here before winter starts to rot them. But they're edible and tasty, and you can take them and feed people.
Dinner and breakfast.
Yep.
Potatoes.
Gotta love them. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew
With rabbit.
with a rabbit. Yeah,
It'd be a coney.
indeed.
Honey stew.
So, full of tasty scavenged victuals, and the night growing dark and pretty chilly, you can all turn in. I assume you set the tent up.
Oh yeah, the tent.
Yep, pot koi
We do.
spun.
We say the magic word.
And 10 minutes later, you see that the backpack kind of transforms into this dome tent, and Trip whistles. Oh, that's impressive. One of those would be nice.
It comes in handy.
Not bad.
Yeah, you can do other things while the tent's being set up. I like that.
Yeah.
And he is very interested. So he kind of pokes his head in and is like, and it comes furnished? This is great.
It is pretty crazy. And it packs down into almost nothing. Holds all of us comfortably.
Always
In fact,
stays kind of warm.
I assume it's set up with an extra cot for you if you'd like to sleep in our tent.
I believe it sleeps up to 6 is if you check the description of the item.
Very good. Yeah, it's temperature controlled too, as Nereus pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very impressed, and he will gladly take you up on the offer to take one of the bunks or one of the bedrolls. You see Cruthly kind of like burrows into the ground a little bit and kind of makes a wallow and kind of off to one side, so it's more of like a little shallow tunnel that she burrows into to sleep.
All right, whoever's on watch, don't step on the bug.
Noted.
Fair.
A wide berth from bugs.
Cool. So, all that settled, you settle in for the evening's rest.
Are you?
Huh?
Sorry. Are you able? If I send you a message on Discord, are you able to check that?
Yeah, I can.
A secret message.
Why don't you just use
Secret
the
message.
whisper?
You can also whisper to him.
I'm always so bad. I always type it in wrong.
Why don't we just say it out loud? We're all friends here.
The secret.
So what I
Any
want
of you can always send me a private message if you have something you would like to do or accomplish that you don't necessarily want the players knowing.
But why would you hide things from the viewers?
Secret.
Because that's
Why
part of the
deny?
game.
Well, last time I tried it, I didn't get any traction. But Spook's gonna go off right before bed, spend a little time communing as part of his nightly prayers. I guess I could do it as a ritual, but if I have the 10 minutes, but if we have,
Yeah, you do. You're just in camp.
okay. So I'm just gonna send you the questions I'm gonna try to ask.
Okay. Does anybody else want to do anything before rest? All right. I assume you're setting watches.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whoever would like to take first watch, go ahead and make a perception check.
I'll go
I
first,
will.
since everybody has dark vision now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will not go first then.
I only. No, I'm gonna reroll that. I don't trust this. That's a little better. 13.
13, okay. The air is cold and crisp as you hear your friends' various signs of sleep from within the tent. For a small fellow, Trip snores surprisingly loudly. Who knows? But other than that, the night is still. The clouds that were overshadowing through most of the day, once the pigeons left, have thinned out, and you have a nice clear view of stars. And a light snow begins to fall, and even though it's not rain, it's close enough.
It's relaxing.
Yeah.
I No, I won't do that because. Okay, I will just kind of relax in the snow, and then go wake up Spoot.
Okay. All right.
It's starting to snow. You might want to bundle up a little bit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you've had my share of cold today. And Spook chuckles.
I hand Spoot my jacket.
Oh, thank
Put that
you.
on your lap.
I'll
Not
lay
gonna
this back.
fit, but like
It might cover my thighs.
you're right. Little lap blanket.
I'll lay it back on you when I come in for my next after my watch.
Great. So yeah, Spoot, you trade off. Go ahead, make a perception check.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Natural 1. I'm just kidding. Oh,
Spoot,
surprised even me.
even in the quiet of this northern forest and in the beginnings of or the late bit of fall bordering on winter, you can sense the life here. You can sort of smell it in the air. The trees, while slumbering, there's still a heavy scent of pine. There's owls that you hear hooting in the distance. You see the twinkling of stars. And you see up towards the north sort of a road in the stars almost. A road shimmering like a rainbow. It's nothing you've ever seen before, and you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's natural. You don't know if it's signs of some crazy wizard experiment. But you know that it is beautiful. And it seems to just slightly glitter in the dark of the sky. In a almost entrancing way. But it is beautiful, and it feels like it's a road made specially for you.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
That's what a natural 20 will get you. Private Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road. Spook just hears.
My nemesis.
Like a rainbow in the dark. Just kidding.
Oh no! See, I just see Mario traumatic flashbacks.
Oh, I'm gonna try to end it. I'm gonna try to think positive on this one. Yeah. So Spoot hopefully will sleep a little better with that. And we'll go to wake. Who's so Nereus has watched. Who was first?
Nereus was first.
Nereus was first.
You're
Okay.
second.
Yeah.
I will wake Grig.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will say, it's a little cold out. Here, Nereus, let me use this coat if you need a little extra warmth. Maybe just lay it back on him when you're finished.
Greg will wear the comically large coat.
I like that picture of it going from being too small to being too large.
It just drags
Oh.
behind.
While it is too long for you, Greg, you notice that like the shoulders are surprisingly well fitted for you, but it's far too long, and the sleeves are too long. But the shoulders seem to fit fairly well.
Neri is
finally-
a dainty form.
You said he was a thin, dainty individual, so hey.
Yes,
Go.
that can
Alright,
take
I'll
quite a
look
hit.
up there. I'm on alert for birds. No more
all right.
birds.
Yeah. It's the middle of the night in the north in the winter, or not quite the winter, but maybe the winter. Could be definitely getting towards the winter. But you've never really been up here before at this time of year. You've never been up here before anyway. Last time you were up here, it was a totally different scenario. There were trees, they had leaves, and Olive was turned to a stone crocodile for some reason, and
Yeah.
and your mind is just like racing and comparing all the things that you had. Got it. Sorry, mosquito. All the things that you had done. It is dead now. All the things that you had done on your last visit north, and you find yourself ruminating on this because it is so calm and serene and peaceful here, and because there's no imminent threats and danger, though you're being aware of it, you can't help but feel like your personality is not one who deals well when there's no external stimuli. And so you are making up your own stimuli. So any hoot or crack of a twig, you are on it, you are investigating, but nothing threatening, not even a wolf howl. It is quiet and serene throughout your watch.
Cool. I will also be making little piles of snow if there's snow collecting.
Yeah, the snow is picked up a little bit. It's not like accumulating significantly, but there's enough you can make little piles.
Yeah, just gonna fool with it.
Yeah, I dig that. It does snow in Winton a little bit, but not like it does up here.
Yeah.
But your watch goes by without any severe issue.
All right. I will go in. Does my best friend look peaceful?
Yeah, he's in his rest mode.
Time to wake him up.
I'll wake up Olive.
Okay. Notorious for sleeping through battle, you shake her awake with a lot of vigor, and
slap, slap.
What?
and she
Roll on the
awakens.
bagpipes.
You have been awoken by Greg.
All right. I will not try to wear Nereus's jacket, as I'm pretty sure that Olive is larger than Nereus.
But it stays dry.
It does.
I will put it on my head like a hat.
So you like just have the hood over your head, and it kind of like the rest of it draped around your shoulders.
Yep. Unfortunately, I'm still half asleep, apparently.
Yeah, it's cold up here, but you're kind of you've been out in cold weather before. It's nothing new to you. And you kind of like get lost thinking about like these odd dreams that you occasionally started having, like, whether are they dreams or, well, they said that woman said they were memories, so maybe they are memories or ancient memories of somebody, but not you, or maybe it was you, but in a different life. It's not clear. And you kind of spend your time ruminating on this. Nothing seems to otherwise burst your reverie.
Also going to stir up the fire a little bit and reheat the stew for breakfast.
Yeah, the fire is out, so if you want to start it again, you can.
Yeah, restart the fire.
Sure.
Or just heat up the cauldron. I'll start the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, you start the fire. A few hours later, Trip wakes up and says, "Oh, how nice, getting the fire started already. Good thinking.
There's some stew left from dinner last night.
Hell yeah. And he dives into it very happily. He's like, I'm not much of a cook. I usually have to scavenge myself, and, well, this is very nice.
Thank you.
So you weren't with the others the last time I saw them around.
That is true. I have never seen you before. We ran into you in the library yesterday. Was that only yesterday?
It was, yeah.
Yesterday was
Sorry.
a long day.
I sorry to interrupt. I have to go help carry in furniture now. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that was coming tonight, so
Oh, okay.
good night.
Good night, Tanner. We'll see you then. Okay, well, hey, furniture happens.
It does.
So, Trip has this conversation with you. Where are you from? What's your story, Miss Olive?
I'm from Southbrook near Fay Harbor.
Okay, I think I've been through there. Yeah. Fishing Village, yeah?
Yep, there's a nice lake there with an island in the middle of it.
Broke Lake, right?
Good fishing. Yes.
Yeah. Lots of broken mountains up in that lake for some reason.
Yeah, the fishing's pretty good there.
Wonderful. And how'd you hook up with these folk?
They helped me run a band of bandits, a group of bandits out of my town.
Oh, well, that's right neighborly of them. Glad to hear that got sorted out.
Yeah.
Well, and he kind of has just like get to know you conversations, trading stories, until the rest of the party begins to awaken. You all see Spoot kind of go off for a minute, and are you doing a ritual casting?
Yeah, I just realized though I have to do. Have we fast forwarded to morning?
It is morning, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so yes, I'm doing a ritual casting.
Yeah. So everybody takes their time to like do their morning ablutions and prep their spells, do their meditations and prayers and whatnot. Their thinkins, their scribblings, whatever it is that you do for your spells. And you see Spoot kind of goes off to one side and spends some time in a meditative state, kind of just existing at a point kind of near where like it's not necessarily a road, but maybe a footpath or some kind of track made by animals. But he kind of sits in the middle of it. And Spoot, to answer your first question, you feel a sense of acceptance and correctness. In response to your second question, you are told the right direction is the one you choose, that you follow unfettered. And you hear that voice of that silver-skinned woman. And for the third question, you get a response of, in time is a funny thing. In time is all you have. So in time it must be. You get a general sense of affirmation from all of these.
Okay. I think I would also say, I don't know if this is worth noting or not, but I think perhaps in general in the mornings, this was a little special occasion, but Spoot is probably going to be a little more distant, maybe taking a little extra time in his normal meditations and prayers than normal. Yeah, showing up when it's time to roll out, kind of thing.
Yeah. What do you say in these extended prayers, Spoot?
That is a good question. I think a lot of it is Spoot is maybe finding some sort of I don't know, maybe like he doesn't have a lot of like formal religious training or anything, so I don't think he's got any like verses or chants or anything but I think for him it's more of like going over knowledge he has had, right? Like combing over things every morning, like going over, seeing if there's a new detail that might come out, seeing if he can like decipher maybe like a new question to ask if there's something that he still doesn't know that he needs to. And in a weird way, maybe it's a bit like, I almost imagine it's like when Doctor Strange is like obviously Doctor Strange can see the future, but he's looking through like the 1,001 ways or whatever it is, that possible scenarios. So like Spoot's maybe out of anxiety is almost like thinking about like all the different ways things could happen and how to prepare for them, but he doesn't know. So it's probably a lot of him just spending time a little bit anxious and maybe worrying more than he needs to, but he's trying to like find a way to meditate and keep his mind calm and think about all the positive reinforcements that he's received along the way to kind of quash the anxiety. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So as you sit in this state of meditation, Spoot, your anxiety's racing, trying to master those fears and all of that. What you sense sort of in your heart is, and you don't open your eyes, but you do open your mind and your heart and that part of your soul that is where you make that connection to the Horizon Walker. And when you do so, you get the sense that a figure very briefly sits down beside you. And a calm, soothing, warm voice. It sounds like it's traveled a lot. It sounds like it has answers, but also questions and wonder and appreciation in a deep sort of just calming, soothing aura. You hear in your mind, being anxious on a journey is normal. Trying to plan for a journey is wise. But accepting the unknown as part of the journey is true understanding. I have watched you for a long time, Spoot. I think your journey will take you farther than so many others. You have the potential to reshape not only this, but many other worlds, many other existences. Remember, intellect is a fine tool to use. But don't get too in your head, or you'll never put one foot in front of the other. And you swear you feel a hand kind of pat you lightly on the shoulder as even though your eyes are closed, you feel this figure rise and just walk away. And you swear you hear in the back of your mind or the depths of your heart the sound of a cloak billowing in the breeze.
I think this is good. I think I take some comfort because I am, again, trying to remind myself that I'm being watched on this journey and that I'm not totally alone. That I have a reason for doing this. And I think some of the anxiety obviously comes from feeling in some way responsible for the fate of others that are decided to join me. But that just, it makes me, gives me a sense of comfort to start the day knowing that, like, I'm being reminded once again that yes, that we're not totally alone on this. We're sort of being watched after and guided.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So you come out of your meditations. The rest of your spells are active. Everybody's all get up. Trip gets on to Kruthi and says, "All right, everybody, it's that time in the morning to get going. Shall we make our ways to unknown lands and see what we find?"
Olive will carefully put out the fire.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Spoot, one additional thing you notice as you open your eyes and look to the sky. The two moons are much closer than you thought they should be.
Uh-oh.
And my heart rate just went back up. Oh, God. Try not to have a panic attack on the way out of the...
Make a nature check for me, Spoot.
That's intelligence based, right? I'm gonna use
It
the
is.
special ability. I'm pulling it out every time.
Okay, yeah, you got X many uses of it.
I don't know what I rolled, but I'm gonna add the plus 5.
Okay, so that would be a 28. Spoot, you looked at the moon in Winton. You looked at the moons in Winton, and they did not seem as close together. And you realize that how close the moons are and their alignment can change based on where you are on Nuuli. So things are relative.
The fuck?
Which means that maybe up here, this far north, the alignment might happen a day or two earlier. That's what a natural 20 on a perception check will get you.
Oh my God. Okay. Spoot's gonna keep this to himself for now. No reason to freak out the party just yet.
So you all gather up, continue on. Trip will make a survival check. Is someone going to offer him assistance?
I will offer him assistance. I am proficient in that skill.
Great. Then he shall do so. Wonderful. Yeah. So this day he leads you more like kind of northeast for a good 4 hours or so. Without any problems or incidents. And as you kind of go off, he explains along the way that he's like, I've been through this area before, so I know it's not here. But we're going in a direction where it just might be. Kind of more to the kind of southwestern foothills of the Balageds is kind of where I think the next place to look for Craghold is.
I mean, all right. Away we go.
Sure.
We certainly trust you.
Your guess is better than ours. We've never been anywhere near here, so...
Well, I've searched for it off and on for years and haven't found it yet, but when I do, there's bound to be something interesting in there. Although if these people are living there, maybe not so much.
I mean, it still might be interesting. Just might be dangerous.
Well, with all due respect, I'm not a fighter as you are. I'm certainly willing to guide you, but if you come down to a full-scale assault, you are out of my league.
Sure, that doesn't mean it's any less interesting. It's just,
Oh no, like anthropologically speaking, or archaeologically speaking, I mean, that
a little harder to get to.
would be interesting to actually see some kind of epic battle like that. But we'll see if these cultists or whatever these tattooed people are half as dangerous as you seem to all think they are, then I'm sure it's going to be quite an event that I will happily observe and not interfere with in any way.
Well, one thing I will say, Trip, is that we certainly appreciate you getting us there and need your help, but we're certainly not going to ask you to stay into any trouble that seems too great. So we understand if you must depart.
I'll probably stick around. I have a few abilities that might aid in. Me and Kruthi here have a few surprises, but full-scale warfare is not one of them. I'm much more of a move undetected and through creepy libraries kind of person.
Well, there may...
Timing might get you real far around.
I'm about to say, there may still be a need for that yet. It's not necessarily our strength.
Fair enough.
Yeah, subtlety is not our strong suit.
Didn't think so. No offense. Well, shall we continue on? And you travel on with him riding Kruthi there. Everybody go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I just use my passive.
Cool. Spoot, you hear it first.
Damn it!
You hear a couple of quick shouts, followed by some kind of like roar. Not like a creature, like a deep bellowing roar, but just like the roar of a few people like cheering or something. And then you hear metal on metal, ting ting clang. And you're pretty sure that you hear the sounds of some kind of fight going on.
Is this with enough time to, like, give the party a heads up before we stumble into something?
Yeah, you can, like, call a full stop, and once you point it out, everybody gives a listen, and everybody can hear it. Sounds like it's maybe a couple 100 feet off in a direction, kind of, not directly in front of you, but kind of on the path. Or just off it.
Trip, do you know of what people might be fighting up here? Is this some sort of tribal dispute or someone in need?
Well, there is a road up that way where the noise is coming from. So it could be some kind of ambush. And Spoot, it is at this moment when you remember the conversation you had with the silver-skinned woman back in Winton. Or back in, it might have been Mandarian, during your meditation, your week-long meditation, that the faithful of the Horizon Walker had been praying for protection on northern roads.
I think we need to go check this out, says Spoot. Maybe someone needs our help.
Pass without a trace. Before we get closer.
So if you cast Pass without a trace, you will not be able to move at full speed.
I think I need to move
because pass without a trace only affects stealth rolls.
Yeah. Leaving behind no tracks. Cannot
Yeah.
be tracked.
Yeah, so like those aspects would be true, but to get the stealth benefit, you'd have to move at half speed.
Gotcha.
I understand if you want to come as support by way of stealth, but I think I don't know. I'm getting some kind of feeling that perhaps I need to see this, and it sounds like time is of the essence. So I'm going to move.
Maybe I will
Yeah,
go on.
you can hear that. You hear a scream. You hear a ah, and you hear battle continuing on.
Yeah, I guess we should do that.
How close? I mean, how much further do we need to go before we see what?
Well, how quick are you like running there, or are you like stealthing there? Like, what are you doing? Essentially, time is of the essence, and this is a time where you have to make a decision and do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make haste. I'm just kind of get my bearings of the surroundings. It's sort of like run to the top of the hill and see what's across the thing, or run around the corner.
Yeah, so you run in the direction that you hear this fight going, and Trip is right behind you on Kruthi. They're like scuttering along, like tick, 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 tick. Everybody else following suit.
Oh, I'm following. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So Defect, you move faster than the rest, so you like are running forward. You
Just like
and what
Naruto.
happens? You burst through the tree line just in time to see an individual clad in kind of gleaming pale yellow plate armor drive a greatsword through a black-clad individual with half of his face tattooed black, and go sprawling in the dirt next to an already dead of a body lying in the snow. He turns to face three other individuals as arrows ting 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 spatter off his armor, and he blocks a few, but a few of them stick in close, and you see this half-orc with dead eyes that you all saw 2 days ago in Winton, holding a massive, fearsome-looking glaive, bringing down to attack, and then seeing that he blocks the weapon. But it takes him a lot, because then the three around him like stab at him with swords, a few of them finding purchase. And Spoot, you get there momentarily behind Defect, and you see in the middle of this melee, you see someone that you've met before. You see Agarian Granix, Paladin of the Horizon Walker, facing a group of Shade Reachers and that mysterious orc from Winton, and a battle on the frozen roads of the north. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session of Nuuli Forged.
Cool.
He's a Banff. We have to go save him. I owe him my life.
Let's roll.
All right.
Well done, everybody. Good job this evening. Hope you had fun fighting a a bunch of passenger pigeons,
Pigeon.
and making your way north, and running into an old friend of Spoot's, who's currently in a very bad place.
All right.
Is he the
Yeah, we
one
have-
in the armor?
Yeah.
Spoot recognized him as the one in the pale yellow plate armor, wielding the greatsword. And like, there's a big like Horizon Walker symbol on the armor. He seems to be like an earth connected individual, like a Ganassi type. But we'll get back into that next week on October 25th. When we come back for episode 122 of Nuuli Forged. So that'll be that. Well, I'll figure out who we're going to raid as y'all say your goodbyes. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. I'll figure out who we're going to raid. Let's go around and say our goodbyes. We'll start with the turtle with the mortal. We'll start with Spoot.
What?
I don't know.
Mortal with the mortal.
Our dear mortal turtle.
Yeah, whatever.
He is so mortal. This is probably going to end poorly for Spoot, but that's
So
okay.
mortal.
Yeah, Matt playing Spoot. Sorry I'm late. I probably not sorry that I missed the pigeons. But,
Okay, cool.
excited to jump in next week to help save a friend who has saved me, and then maybe I'll give the party a little backstory on how we met.
Exciting.
Yeah. Wonderful. Moving on up, we got Olive.
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm Sarah. I've been Olive. This has been delightful. I like freezing pigeons. I think it's fun. And we are Nuuli Forged, and you can follow us on all manner of social media, NUULIFORGED. And also catch our past episodes on YouTube. If you are tuned in recently and are going, what on earth are these people up to? That's how you find out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next up, we got Greg of the Rust.
That's me. I'm Greg. And also, I'm Amber. And also, please continue to enjoy Zydeco on the bed and Arlo the big one, who posed for you earlier.
Oh, I missed it.
Yay! Yeah, he was in her lap for a while.
Zydeco was in my lap, and then Arlo was on the bed, just like perched over the edge, staring right at the camera. I was like, dog, what are you doing? How do you know?
He wanted to play.
Yep. Heavy doodle and little doodle. Light doodle. Anyway, the end. Dogs. They're good. Bye!
Jelly.
Wonderful. And, of course, rounding out with Defect.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Nothing to plug, so just swing on by next week. Check us out. We'll be fighting things.
Your favorite.
Yep.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, wonderful. And I've been Jared, your Dungeon Master here on Nuuli Forged. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Ives Got It for being the best moderator around. Thank you to Renrab, who followed us about an hour ago. And thank you to everyone who's lurked, watched, hung out with us, and had fun on our crazy adventures as we finish up in this final arc of the campaign, which is fun and exciting. We're going to go ahead. We're going to raid Cap Corgi, who's doing some D&D over there. So let them know that they've been newly raided, and we will see you all right here at 7 p.m. next Wednesday, October 25th, for episode 122 of Nuuli Forged. And that's it. Be kind to each other, extend peace and happiness, and all good things, because it's shit out there right now. So help make it not shit. Help make it not shit. That's my takeaway. All right. Hold that message deep in your heart, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.